ABC25 presents Monday Night Football, the pregame breakdown.
This is what it looks like live from the field inside Alltel Stadium, where Jacksonville is in the spotlight tonight. It is Monday Night Football, the Jaguars against the Dolphins. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bruce Hamilton, along with ABC25 Sports Director Rick Renner, Karen Adams, and the entire ABC25 News team. This is a night not just for football, but a night when Jacksonville is in the spotlight, because 50 million people are going to watch this game on Monday Night Football, and the city will certainly be featured. You know, this is a big year for Jacksonville, Rick. There are a lot of people who say they have what it takes to go to the Super Bowl. They're 4-0 so far in the season. How did they get there?
Well, you know, it really hasn't been pretty, but before we can look ahead, we got to look behind it. You look at all the games that they've been involved with, you talk about what champions are made out of, and champions are teams that can find a way to win even when they don't play their best game.
Now, Coach Coughlin was talking about the fact, look, I'm glad we're 4-0, and I don't care how we got here as long as we learn from our mistakes. But to look toward the Super Bowl in this 1998 season, don't we have to look back at some of the past history?
And, you know, it really starts with that Denver game. Last year, the big blowout at Mile High. One thing Tom Coughlin talked about coming out of that ball game was finding a way to stop the run and finding a way to run. And you know what? Those two things, mission accomplished in a perfect start.
Dominate today. Offense on three. 1, 2, 3.
Game one in Chicago. First defensive series, and the Jaguars lose their leader, Jeff Lageman, for the season with a torn bicep muscle. Jaguars shake off an anemic first half, where Mark Brunell tossed 2 interceptions. Little man James Stewart proved to be the man with a team record first of 4 100-yard rushing performances. With the game on the line, down 23-17 with 4 minutes to play, Mark Brunell and company drive 87 whopping yards to win it on a 4-yard hookup to Pro Bowler Jimmy Smith.
We showed great character, and we were a championship football team, just going down in the last few minutes and getting a score, much-needed score.
Any team knows anything about adversity, it's our team. You know, we've been behind and in the doghouse many times, and we bounced back, and that traditionally has been the character of this football team, to never give up.
Week 2 AFC Championship preview. The Jaguars special teams were just that, special. Reggie Barlow runs high, lays low with several huge returns, almost single-handedly won this game on his own wheels. Little man makes it back-to-back weeks with 100 yards rushing.
They're a great defense. Hard to run on. Everybody knows that. But, you know, we keep at it. We keep pushing. We keep pounding, trying to get those yardages because we want to have a balanced attack.
And for the second week in a row, the Jags defense would bend but not break.
Well, you know what they say, defense win championships and offense get the glory. So let them have the glory. I'll take the championship. All right.
Week 3, the Baltimore Ravens / Browns come to Alltel as a team that's never beaten the Jaguars. And they leave the same way. The Jaguars post suffocating defense, but suffer a major injury on offense. FSU's Peter Boulware tackles Stewart awkwardly, and Little Man tears a major ligament in his knee, done for the season. Enter Gator great and rookie Fred Taylor, who freshly tailors the greatest rushing performance in the history of the Jaguars. 128 yards on the ground, 213 total, and the AFC Player of the Week honors. The only downside, the rookie's end zone celebration.
First time, I didn't know what to do. Once I got behind his Keenan block, I was like, you can't let him catch you. All your boys joke on you. I'm supposed to be all fast and stuff. So I just ran fast as I could. They didn't catch me.
Week 4, the Jaguars sing a sad country song in the Music City early. The Jaguars would not be denied. Just before half, Mark Brunell does a little show and tell to Keenan McCardell to cut it to 5. Then after the half, rookie runner Freddie Taylor puts up another 100-yard rushing show, which earns AFC Rookie of the Month honors. And the Pro Bowl kicker in Mike Hollis returns to form to seal the deal for 4-0.
We're 4-0. We've never been 4-0 in the history of the franchise. We're excited about that. We're very realistic, as always, but I am pleased with the heart and the belief and the fight and the drive, and regardless what the circumstances are, we keep on playing. And
You know, when you look at the success, you really got to look at the young guns, because so many people came into this season saying the Jaguars lack depth, but the young guns have really stepped up to the plate and filled in the holes of all the guys that have been injured.
Well, look, when Lageman got hurt, everybody said, look, the bottom's falling out here. Who steps up to the plate? It's Fred Taylor. And that brings me to the subject of the rookies. You went through the locker room all last week. They said, no, this is just another game. It's not. They're undefeated at 4-0. 50 million people are watching. They're going on the road for 3 games. This is more than just another game.
Imagine being a rookie in that game. And that's where Sherry Lowe steps in, and she's inside Alltel, and it's going to be, the stage is set really for these young guys, and it's going to be interesting to see how they react. Here's Sherry Lowe with thoughts on the new kids on the block.
You know, a lot of us know exactly where we were a year ago. Most of us right here in Alltel watching the Jaguars debut on Monday Night Football. But there's a group of players on the Jags who were nowhere near the stadium that night. In fact, they were in their dorm rooms. I've had a chance to catch up with the rookies before their Monday Night Football debut.
Monday. If you lived in Jacksonville 12 months ago, you were one of 2 places, either at Alltel watching the Jags debut on Monday Night Football, or planted in front of a television watching it all unfold on ABC25. But there is a group of Jaguar rookies nowhere near the stadium that night and will experience the Monday night hype for the very first time tonight.
One thing the vets told me, everybody will be watching. And I remember when I wasn't in the NFL, I was sitting around the house watching Monday Night Football. That's the only thing that's good on TV.
It's got to be neat to know that some of the people you went to college with are going to be able to turn on the TV Monday night and see their friend Alvis.
Yeah, hopefully I can have a good showing and do some good things, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
For my family and friends to be able to see me, especially those that are out the region and really can't get to local games.
Any nerves knowing that you're going to be the only game in town that night?
No, it's not really nerves. We do know that the whole world is watching, and it's just now they can see us go out there and perform our job and actually see how we do it and do it well.
When we played the Cowboys preseason, it was nationally televised, and all my friends called me right afterwards, said, "Oh, we saw you." And same thing with Monday Night Football. It's the only game in town on Monday night, and the entire nation will be watching it. And maybe if I stand real close to Mark, I'll get on there.
Brunel couldn't ask for a better shadow.
Well, one rookie who is going to see a lot of action tonight is running back Fred Taylor, now the starter because of the injury to James Stewart. Fred is looking for his 3rd consecutive 100-yard game. And with the way he's been playing, guys, he may just get it tonight. Rick, Bruce?
No question of that. That's going to be an interesting matchup tonight, because you got the big offensive line of the Jacksonville Jaguars going against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And it'll be interesting to see how the rookie handles the fact that 50 million people are watching, a lot of friends and family who will critique him about this the next couple of days. But, when you talk about rookies, there are no fans in the stands that are rookies about being Jaguar crazy, are there?
No. Boomer Esiason was telling us a story at the Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce luncheon today. He said, last time I visited Jacksonville, it was in a Bengal uniform, and the decibel level out on the field was so loud that my teammates couldn't hear me calling any plays. He says that's when you know you've got an enthusiastic crowd. And one of the reasons that the Jacksonville Jaguar franchise is so successful is indeed because of fan support. And there are a lot of people, there are going to be 73,000 in Alltel Stadium behind us, but a lot of people started partying around noon this afternoon with the tailgater part of this Monday Night Football story. Here's ABC25's Karen Adams.
I have to tell you, we're having beef kebabs on the grill, and a lot of rowdy fans, as you can see behind me. Yeah. Go Fred Taylor! Fred Taylor, number 1, yeah! I'm here with Orlando. Now, Orlando, you've been cooking these kebabs all day long.
Yes, I have.
There's something a little bit different about Orlando, because he's not a Jags fan. He came all the way up here from Miami, Florida, didn't you?
Yes, I'm not a Jags, but my wife is. My wife is from up here. So
you're a season ticket holder
for the Dolphins. I'm a season ticket holder from Miami. Came up with 2 friends, hooked up with my family. My mother-in-law made this for us, and we all came out here to eat.
All right.
Eat and be crazy.
Okay, now, most of these guys guys behind me and gals are going to be going to the game. But there's one girl that is not going to the game because she has no tickets. Her name is Mindy. She's like one of only 2 people out of all this crowd. You're going to be here watching the game in this tent.
But 2 people, me and this other guy, we're sitting out here.
Well, I'm sure you'll have fun anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Be sure not to go away because we're coming right back in just a moment. We're going to tell you how the times are changing for women. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Karen Adams, along with our Monday Night Football pregame breakdown show. You know, there's no doubt about it, the Jaguars have a winning strategy on the field. But you know what? The Jaguars also have a winning strategy off the field. Our ABC25's Susan Biggers shows us one woman who started it all.
Stewart offset in the backfield.
For most Jaguar fans, winning on the field means everything. But it's not the score at the end of the game that matters most to the Jaguars' biggest cheerleader. Dolores Weaver is most proud of the victory off the field.
I couldn't care enough. I couldn't give enough money. I couldn't go anywhere and do what I know we can do here. And I credit the Jaguars for that.
Determined to make a difference, Weaver devotes 12 and 14 hours a day to the Jaguars Foundation, a dream born the day the NFL delivered welcomed news.
Today that Jacksonville is certainly going to make you proud. We're going to be a great new partner for the NFL.
Jacksonville scored with its own pro football team.
Immediately, I said we will have a foundation when we get this team. Out of that 40 times, do you know of any babies you've
A foundation that's teaming up with Jacksonville to prevent teen pregnancy and reaching out to those who want to achieve winning goals through the Honor Rose program. To score one of these Honor Rose seats, a young person has to have more than a love for the game. They have to demonstrate goal setting and complete a pledge promising to stay tobacco, alcohol, and drug-free.
We feel very proud of what we have accomplished in a short time, but we certainly realize that our work's only begun.
It's a future that holds endless possibilities, both on and off the field. Susan Biggers, ABC25 News.
And I can tell you from March of 1995 to June of this year, the Jaguars Foundation allocated more than $1 million in grants, all going for a very good cause. And before we toss it back to Rick and Bruce, I have to show you this little boy who has come all the way from Miami, Florida to watch his team. Tyler, how are you?
Good.
Well, listen, the best of luck to you tonight.
Go Jaguars!
Oh, okay. All right, back to you, Bruce and Rick.
He's in to see a Jaguars. He's not going to say much.
He's getting a little scared there from all the Jaguar crazy fans.
He sure was. You know, one of the reasons Jacksonville has a franchise is because Wayne Weaver was very plugged into this community. Paul Tagliabue talked about this earlier today. He said this is a community that demonstrated that it has support from the people who live here. Season's tickets are at a premium, but there was a bit of a controversy earlier this year because even though all the seats were sold, there were a bunch of no-shows, and Coach Coughlin, who usually doesn't have much to say about fan reaction, was pretty adamant in his reaction about this.
I think his big thing with that whole deal, he wants if you're not going to go to the game, give your ticket to somebody else so you can make the noise because they need that with the away team coming in. And it's funny because listening to Boomer and Dan talk at that same thing at the Chamber of Commerce today, they said that last year's Monday Night Football game was the most exciting and the most loud.
And it was because there was a big crowd here. Now, you may be surprised to find out that among the season ticket holders, Jacksonville's Jaguars have the most female season ticket holders than any other NFL franchise. We get more on that from ABC25's Kim Prosey.
Yeah, that's right. You know, everyone knows that Jacksonville Jaguar fans are rowdy. There's no question about that. But did you know, and this is what many people may not know, who are these season ticket holders? Well, it turns out there are more women season ticket holders than men. Yes, you understood me right. Get this, the stadium and local vendors are now looking at how they can better cater to these female fans.
They cheer and shout loud and proud. They also sport their designer Jaguar shirts, pendants, and anything else they can find teal and black. We're talking about the female football fans of the 90s. Would you believe new research shows there are actually more female season ticket holders than men?
We know that from studies that the NFL has done that we have a higher proportion of females in our fan base than we do compared to the league average.
That's what I told my husband the day they announced it. I said, that's what I want. I want season tickets. I have not missed a home game yet.
I think they're being recognized more to support football, and we're much louder.
Well, I know with myself, I just love the game, and I love the Jaguars. There is none other than them, and it's just I wouldn't miss them for anything.
To accommodate these fans, you'll see for the first time women's only apparel. The shirts, skirts, and hats have a feminine touch, and these fans seem to love it.
And I'm glad they are selling more stuff for women, definitely. So you can go to the store, you don't have to buy its size and have it hanging down to your kneecaps.
So look around the stands. Are there more females than males? And are they really louder than anyone else?
I mean, I tell you what, we can scream with the best of them, right?
I'd be willing to guarantee every female fan I interviewed in that package is here tonight. They said they have not missed a game and will not miss a game, so they are dedicated. And I think it's a pretty interesting fact that female fans are now coming out. Reporting live from News Chopper 25, Kim Prosey, ABC25 News.
Thanks, Kim. About an hour and 3 minutes till kickoff, and the weather looks pretty good. We'll get the kickoff forecast from First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brian Albrecht when we come back.
And also coming up a little bit later, we'll ask the question, is Jacksonville gaining yards and becoming a Super Bowl city? Choke the remote. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's time now to get the forecast on the pregame breakdown of that whole thing on Pregame Breakdown.
You saw people filtering into the stadium across the Matthews Bridge. It is a beautiful night, albeit a little humid, Brian.
Appropriate, this game was held on Columbus Day because on this date in 1492, Columbus discovered Dan Marino. That was his rookie year. You know, he's getting a little old, so I think that gives the Jags an advantage. Beautiful weather out here tonight. The skies above are blue and looking down over Alltel. The lights are shining brightly. On the First Alert Live Doppler radar, you've got no rain anywhere nearby the Alltel Stadium area, and for that matter here on the First Coast, we do have a few showers way out in the Atlantic Ocean. They're moving away. They will cause us no problem. So your official forecast for the game tonight, partly cloudy skies above, comfortable temperatures here at the stadium. We're in the mid-70s now. We'll stay in the 70s until late in the game when we drop down to the upper 60s. My prediction, Jaguars 24, Dolphins 14.
Finally got it out of you. Thanks, Brian. You know, in addition to what they do on the football field, you've got a lot of Jaguars who are very plugged into the community and also some who are television stars. You've got the burger wars going on. You might buy a car because Jeff Lageman hawks a certain dealership.
It's interesting because, you know, you look at it, unlike other teams in the NFL, the heavyweights in commercials are the heavy guys. You know why? Because they're the real people.
The Baselli Burger. 3 all-beef patties, 2 kinds of cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, all in a big bun.
What can I say? I have a big appetite.
And now try the Big Ben Combo. A double Whopper with cheese, king-size fry, and a king-size drink.
The Big Ben. The Mighty Mitchell. The Dynamic Donovan.
Easy, rookie.
You think they actually eat their own burgers?
I know Tony does.
Does he?
I know Tony does, and I think Ben does.
Now, if I could only find a bigger table.
We always have this debate in the locker room. Last year we tried to have a survey which was better, you know, the Whopper or the Big Mac. And it was about 50-50.
How's it going in the burger wars? You think you're winning this thing pretty good?
No, dominating. You know, Coleman doesn't have a burger named after him. Baselli Burger at McDonald's is wreaking havoc on the burger community here in Jacksonville. Talking about going nationwide with it. It's just been such a success. So go to McDonald's and try one.
If the choice is easy to stand behind a team that's headed to the Super Bowl, it's a no-brainer to buy a car or truck from Nimnick Chevrolet.
Take it from a winner. Ronaldo win. You always win with Wolverton.
I'm thinking the win one is a pretty hot one. You feel like you've won the commercial battle?
Nah, not even close. You got your boy Yerk on there. He's just a character. You know, we've been on that guy. Yerko's in the house.
If y'all out there, I'm still waiting on my deal. I mean, I can sell. I mean, I'm very reputable. I mean, I'm a class act. I mean, I sell chicken, whatever you want. I mean, Church's, Popeyes, give me a call. I'm available.
He'd be a great inventor for the hamburger. You get a patty on the back. He is a pretty big patty.
Leon Searcy.
It's only third down right here on the big show, and the Jaguars talking about the big beefy commercials. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
You betcha. We're going to talk about the fact that kicker Mike Hollis is trying to kick a bad rap, and we'll go one-on-one with defensive end Jeff Lageman when ABC25's Monday Night Football, the pregame breakout, continues. We are live outside Alltel Stadium. Bruce Hamilton along with Rick Renner, Karen Adams, and the entire ABC25 News team. We were talking about this earlier. When it comes to the offensive line, the Jags have one of the beefiest in the NFL.
No question, and an interesting matchup tonight because you got the Miami Dolphins offense, which is the defense rather, which is considered one of the best in the NFL. It's going to be interesting to see how those big beefy guys up front do against the Miami Dolphins.
Let's take a look at some of these statistics. You've got 4 Jaguars building a solid wall of defense that basically protects quarterback Mark Brunell. Offensive tackle Tony Baselli weighing in at a svelte 329 whopping pounds. At the same position, Ben Coleman just a pound lighter. Happy Quentin Nuhuar is a hefty 305, 323 pounds for guard Brian DeMarco, and offensive tackle Leon Searcy, who wants his own commercial, rounds out the bunch at 321 pounds at least. You add it all together, and I don't have a calculator here, but I think that's something like 1,300 pounds of beefy offensive line, Rick.
Now you know why they're doing so many burger commercials. You know, on the lighter side, the kicking game, which has been kind of a question mark. Right now, Mike Hollis is warming up. He's struggled through a lot of adversity this year, and Pro Bowler Mike Hollis really started the preseason rough. Early on in the first couple games, did not really have the kind of season that he wants to have, but it has a lot to do with some of the guys around him. He lost his center from last year. Quentin New Year's a new guy, and ABC25's Scott Roberts has a story you'll get a kick out of.
37 yards. Ball in the right hash. It will come from left to right across your radio dial. He gets it up and on the way, and Hollis misses to the left. It was a low snap, and Barker couldn't get it.
A tough preseason and several key misses in the early going had the Boo Birds out in force against Mike Hollis.
I don't really care what people think. I'm doing the best that I can, and if that's the best that I can do, then that's good.
Now, it might look easy. Just kick the ball through the uprights. But believe me, it's not. Just try it sometime. See?
Specific skill as mine is kicking. It's just like golf. It's hard to master, and I got the people at home on their couch saying that I could have done it, or I could have made that field goal. Well, it's easier said than done, obviously.
Actually, the kick is the end result of teamwork, and it has to be perfect. You need the snap, the hold, and then the kick. Last year, Dave Wydell and Hollis clicked. This year, there is a new snapper, Quentin New Year, and that has led to adjustments on the job.
Him and Dave Wydell had a great time pattern from what I understand last 2 years, so it was a little bit of adjustment factor for me, and I had to make sure I get the balls up, so hopefully we can continue to keep them up in the air and let them look at them a little bit longer.
Obviously, all three of us have to work together, and even the other 8 guys have to block for us, so it's not just about catching a ball and kicking it, it's timing, rhythm, etc.
As all the parts come together, Mike Hollis is returning to his Pro Bowl form, but he cautions he's not all the way back.
I'm on the right road to rebounding. I don't want to say that I've rebounded yet because then I may relax and not perform well next week. So it's obviously a challenge for me to continue success instead of just having one good game.
I'll tell you what, Bruce, one way to get him back on track, hitting a game-winning field goal at the end of this game tonight.
There you go. And when we come back on Monday Night Football, the pregame breakdown, what are Jacksonville's chances of hosting a Super Bowl? And Jeff Lageman, he's been on the sidelines because of an injury. Will he return to the field next season? We'll find out.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football. Miami, Jacksonville, the pregame breakdown.
Yeah, you're looking at downtown. The River City is absolutely electric tonight for the second ever Monday Night Football showdown. The Dolphins, the Jaguars, it's a rumble in the jungle with a little show and tell at Alltel. Welcome back to pregame Countdown, I'm Rick Renner along with Bruce Hamilton.
You know, in addition to the football game itself, Jacksonville will be in the spotlight because ABC's Monday Night Football always profiles the city. So the city stands to reap a lot of economic benefits from the exposure to 50 million people tonight. Now let's talk about the game. Dan Deerdorf was talking earlier today if Miami is going to be in it, that Jimmy Johnson's going to have to let Dan Marino go to the air, but Johnson's probably going to play a running game. Another thing that the Jaguars aren't used to is the man-to-man coverage that the Dolphins are going to put on the field. Still, this is a team that is number one in the Central Division right now, that's 4-0, and they got here because they've got an awful lot of fortitude.
Grit, determination, the makings of a champion. It starts in training camp with every handoff, every block, and plenty of instruction. Molding, building, maturing a young franchise for the ultimate prize. NFL's Lombardi. The Jaguars can taste it. Just 4 years old, but already they have a big appetite. Only a Lombardi can fill. And the word is getting out fast.
And it is, and this game has so many interesting scenarios coming into it. First of all, it's the first ever visit by the Miami Dolphins to Alltel in the regular season. It's old school versus new school. And if you think about it, this town for so long supported the Miami Dolphins until the Jaguars came around. But you know what? The Miami Dolphins didn't buy into any of that this week.
I think what we're looking forward to is going out and playing football and getting back on the, getting this bitter taste out of our mouth from losing. So we got to go out and get a win underneath our belt and get back on the winning streak. But them being from the same state, really, that doesn't really matter.
I've seen many of these guys before, being with the Oilers for many years. Since I played in the very first game there, the inaugural game, and they've been a tough franchise ever since. They've always put good teams together.
Good.
Anyway, that's Donnelly. Of course, he played with the Tennessee Oilers, which was the first team that the Jaguars ever lost to and the first team the Jaguars ever beat. But you look at the injuries coming into this for the Jaguars in the season. So many guys have stepped up to the plate and filled those holes.
You're right. There have been a lot of bright spots. People like Fred Taylor, who we talked about before. And these bright spots have made all the difference, and they're the reason that the Jaguars are 4-0 so far in this season. With more on that, to ABC25's Scott Roberts. Scott.
Hey, man, when you are 4-0, there are a lot of bright spots, and the usual suspects come to mind, like Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardle, et al. But there have been some surprises that have lit things up.
In the midst of a 4-0 start, there are many bright spots, but some shine a little brighter.
There's the 35-40. It's a foot race. Barlow at the 50, the 40, the 30. He's not going to get caught. He's at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Reggie Barlow, 85 yards, and the Jaguars take a 6-0 lead.
You pretty much want to smile once you see all that open field, but it's a good feeling.
Now, Reggie Barlow has really risen to the occasion this season. He's averaging over 20 yards per kickoff return and over 17 yards per punt return. Those numbers place him second in the AFC.
Well, that's contribute to good game planning and also to the 10 other guys that are out there putting forth the effort to create lanes for me. And, we've just been doing real good. And, once you score one, your teammates have confidence in you and you have confidence in them.
While Barlow is lighting things up on special teams, the Jaguar defense, despite all of the injuries, is turning the lights out on opposing offenses. Even in their bruised and battered state, the Jag D ranks 12th in the league.
Well, we've done a pretty good job this year. Obviously from last year we wanted to improve, and I think we've done that thus far, and we just need to keep it going.
We've been able to pick up our play. The front line, they've been stopping all the runs. Our defensive secondary stopping all the passes. We haven't allowed too many big passes on us. Coming up with interceptions and big plays, fumbles.
Shining as brightly as anyone is rookie running back Fred Taylor. He inherited the job in Week 3 when James Stewart went down for the season.
In 2 games, Taylor has gone over the 100-yard mark, and he leads all rookie rushers.
I just want to come in, contribute the most I can, try earn the respect from the vet, but my time's here now, make the most of it.
And what's really bright is, despite a 4-0 record, these guys haven't even played their best game yet.
I hope we say that for our last game, whatever that last game is.
Let's hope that last game is the Super Bowl in Miami, and when these guys do put it all together, just think how good they will be. Boo, scary. Back to Bruce and Rick.
It really is kind of interesting because you look at it, you need the bright stars to build a Super Bowl contender. Now, they're definitely a Super Bowl contender, but the question is this city, the River City, a Super Bowl contender as far as the Super Bowl city goes?
You know, that question was asked of NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue earlier today, and he said, look, Jacksonville has a great team. It's got wonderful fan support. It's an enthralling city. It is a city that has it all together, but what it doesn't have are enough hotel rooms. Now, there's one more Super Bowl to be awarded before the year 2004, and it's probably going to go to Detroit. Wayne Weaver is pushing hard for us to get a Super Bowl from 2004 to 2010. Is it going to happen? What do we need to do? With more on that story, ABC25's Alan Kelly.
Well, Bruce, of course, one thing the city has to do is show a lot of football excitement. I tell you, we've got evidence of that here tonight. We're here at Gate 1. You can see the Adams Street experience is still going strong behind us. The music is pumping out. We got a lot of excited fans here. I want to show you this guy right here. Check this out, huh? Now that is an outfit right there. So we've got plenty of excitement here, but if you're talking Super Bowls, you can multiply that excitement level by about 20 times. The reason is, if you're a Super Bowl city, the NFL talks about you all year long, and then 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, the whole world is talking about you. So you can bet there are a bunch of people in Jacksonville who are making Super Bowl plans.
It's become one of the biggest parties in America. Super Bowl halftimes like this are a tradition in South Florida, a tradition Jacksonville would like to move a little further north. Jacksonville has the facility for the game. The challenge is handling the 2-week-long party before kickoff.
Any city that hosts this needs to put some special entertainment together. You certainly draw on some of the natural attractions of your area.
The First Coast has plenty of natural attractions to offer Super Bowlers, but it's going to take more than just great recreational activities to lure a Super Bowl to Jacksonville. It's also going to take a lot of hotel rooms. The NFL requires 2 500-room hotels, and there are none of those in the area.
We have some years to go, and our hotel development activity has been very aggressive the last few years. We're gaining ground faster than we might have originally expected to.
The Adams mark is a first step, but Jacksonville needs a second 500-room step. There's been some talk of bringing cruise ships in to satisfy that. The Jaguars owner is pushing the idea.
We can certainly be a catalyst in rallying support for our city, but it's going to take a host committee of leaders and dignitaries and certainly leadership from the mayor to organize a well-organized proposal to bring a Super Bowl here.
And speaking of catalysts, these big Monday night games do not hurt.
Gives us the national exposure that I think helps influence even the selection committee about how favorably Jacksonville can look and perform. So I know we'll do a great job on our 2 Monday nights and help get us a little closer to our goal.
So Jacksonville may be a Super Bowl long shot for now, but Jacksonville's been an NFL long shot before.
Now, Wayne Weaver says that he would shoot for a 2004 Super Bowl here in Jacksonville. That's a heck of a goal to set, but hopefully within 6 years we'll see fans heading up this ramp for a Super Bowl game. Reporting live from Gate 1 at Alltel Stadium, Alan Kelly, ABC25 News.
You know, Alan, there are a lot of people who said Jacksonville would never get an NFL franchise, and look at the Jaguars today.
They're in L.A.
When we come back, Jeff Lageman out for this season. What's the deal with next? Find out.
At that and many other questions, our Sherry Lowe poses to the defensive leader, Jeff Lageman, up close and personal when ABC25's pregame breakdown continues.
We are live outside Alltel Stadium. You have an aerial view from News Chopper 25. Many of the 73,000 fans expected for tonight's sellout already in their seats. Kickoff is just about, half an hour, 35 minutes away. And we'll have all the action here live on ABC's Monday Night Football. You know, there are about, a half a dozen players who are going to miss tonight's contest on the field, and a couple of big names, too.
Really, when you think about it, you lose your defensive leader and your starting running back. Let's take a look at some of the guys that the Jaguars have lost and really had some key guys step up. It starts with defensive end Jabbar Threet's out with a knee. James Stewart on his way to a Pro Bowl year, put together back-to-back 100-yard rushing performances until a torn ACL in his knee. Jeff Lageman signed with sidelined with torn bicep muscle in the first defensive series of the year. And Don Davey also had leg problems, but other guys have stepped up for these men,
as we've talked about a number of times.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one big name that's been missing who really wants to be out there on the field.
Jeff Lageman.
Yeah.
Jeff Lageman. And when you talk about Lageman, this is a guy that really means so much in so many different ways for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's where our Sherry Lowe comes into the know. She sat down up close and personal with Jeff Lageman. Sherry, take it away.
You know, the Jaguars took a tough hit on defense when they lost defensive end Jeff Lageman for the year. Lageman is a 10-year veteran. He is a team leader, and he had said that this would be his last year in the NFL. But that goodbye tour came to an abrupt halt in Chicago.
So the first time I could play, I played, and we were full pads at 8 years old.
Jeff Lageman has never done anything halfway.
And I mean, I can't remember how many days of backyard Nerf football we used to play growing up.
From Jet to Jaguar, his bio tells the story of a veteran football player who chose Jacksonville as his final resting place. A last chance to get his fingers on the elusive Super Bowl ring.
I think one thing that has to come into play to get to that level, I think you've got to have a little bit of luck. You can't have a lot of injuries, and we've had quite a few so far. And you've got to have a few breaks along the way.
Unfortunately, it's been nothing but tough breaks for Jeff. After a sharp training camp and preseason, Jeff tore his right bicep on the fourth play of the season opener in Chicago.
I thought I just sprained the ligament in my elbow. You know, I reached out to trip Edgar Bennett up, and I couldn't come back with my feet because I had somebody tangled up around me.
Jeff knew something was wrong.
And I looked down and I saw that I didn't have any lower bicep, and I knew right then. So the doctor came out and he said, "What'd you do?" And I said, "Well, I sprained the ligament in my elbow and I tore my bicep off the bone." And he's like, So he was kind of surprised at my medical evaluation. But
you knew before the doctor did.
Yeah, I knew.
What Jeff didn't know on the field later tore his heart out off the field.
It's kind of hard to swallow.
The injury ended his season, a season he had said would be his last in the NFL.
It's like you work so long and you work so hard, and I felt I had one of the best training camps I had this year. I was healthy coming out of training camp, which is, I haven't had very many of those, and to have the season end on one play, on the fourth play of the opener, it's kind of tough to swallow.
At the age of 32, Jeff is a young man considered old by his sport. But with age comes wisdom Jeff shares with the team.
I watch Fred Taylor to Keenan McCardell to Tony Baselli to Fernando Smith to everybody. I watch everybody. And if they're not doing something right, I'm going to tell them.
One thing Jeff isn't telling just yet is whether he'll try to come back for another season. 6 surgeries in 7 years weigh heavily on his mind.
Are you going to come back next year?
I don't know. I don't want it to end this way. I never wanted it to end this way.
Now, Jeff says he will wait until the end of the season before deciding whether to come back and play football. He wants to assess the injury, but more importantly, he says he wants to decide if his heart is really in this game anymore. Bruce, Rick?
You know, you really get the feeling he's going to come back. You know, we're just getting started here. It's almost time for ABC25's Monday Night Madness.
There you go.
We're about ready to pop the cork on this whole thing, aren't we?
There is magic in the air. It's a magic night for the fans, a magic night for the Jaguars, a magic night for the city of Jacksonville. A little abracadabra when we come back. Alltel Stadium. Hi, everybody. Bruce Hamilton along with Rick Renner. Last time two Florida teams played in Monday Night Football was back on November 29th, 1982. It was Tampa and Miami. Tampa won 23-17. A little more trivia for you. Monday Night Football, Jacksonville's 1-0 in the regular season. As for Miami, they're something like 33-24. They're
one of the
tied.
best teams on Monday Night Football.
Right.
Has played the most on Monday Night Football and will play 3 times this year on Monday Night Football.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 times this year.
No, but the
December
Dolphins will
28th,
play
Pittsburgh.
3 times. You're a little confused with yourself.
There you go.
Yeah.
But anyhow, they're tied with the Raiders. It is a beautiful night for a football game. For the latest, we go to ABC25 Chief Meteorologist Brian Albrecht.
Well, as I look up, among other things, there's the ABC25 News Chopper 25. And amongst all the lights, there are some stars up there. The sky is beautifully clear. And as we take a look down from News Chopper 25, the lights of the stadium and the city are making for a beautiful scene across the First Coast. And that scene, in just a couple of minutes, is going to be beamed into living rooms across the entire country and many parts of the world. The crowd is on their way into the stadium. I would say we probably have 80% that had already passed by here. Mostly, of course, dressed in Jaguar attire, but there have been a few Dolphin faithfuls, and well, they've been a little more low-key than most of the Jaguar fans, I think, probably for their own safety. Anyway, the big question is, from the First Alert Live Doppler radar, where is the rain? Or even better, where isn't it raining? As we take a look at the radar, it's not raining obviously here because the stars are shining above. And as we look right onto the St. Johns River, things are quiet, things are dry in all locations around Jacksonville. Just a couple of showers left over off the coast by about 40 to 50 miles now. Earlier today, we had them on shore, especially around Mayport and Blunt Island, and a few of them in northern St. Johns County. It looked pretty threatening early this afternoon around here at the stadium, but the rain never materialized. It moved offshore, and things are looking great. Temperature right now from our mobile weather lab stands at 76 degrees. The winds out of the north-northeast at 8 miles per hour. The humidity is 72%, just ideal conditions for a football game, and it's a big game here for Jacksonville. And again, I'll repeat my prediction before. Dolphins 14, but the Jaguars will have 24 by the time the game ends. Back to you guys.
All right,
He
thanks,
keeps
Brian.
changing it. That was the same as before.
Either way, it is going to be an exciting Monday Night Football contest for a lot of reasons. Number one, Jaguars go into this game 4-0. They are undefeated. It is the first time they've played Miami in a regular season contest. During their first season, they played a preseason game. That didn't count. And also because of the fans. I hearken back to that Jacksonville Chamber of Commerce luncheon today, and Dan Deerdorf and Boomer Esiason both said, you know what? I mean, we go to Monday Night Football games, and some we just go through the paces. They're good games, but that's it. This is exciting because the fans get into it and because the Jaguars always promise good football.
And those guys talked about last year's game with the Pittsburgh Steelers as being one of the most exciting Monday Night Football games ever. And with that,
look how it ended.
That's right. Let's take a look back at a September to remember.
It's prime time in Jacksonville, and this city is ready for Monday Night Football.
The biggest in the history?
And now the city of Jacksonville is in a full buzz because the Pittsburgh Steelers are here to play the Jaguars on ABC Monday Night Football.
It was the most hype, and it was right. In Mark Burnell's return from a preseason knee injury against division rival Pittsburgh, it was the loudest Alltel Stadium has ever been.
I remember that one ovation. I thought that was, outstanding. The introduction of Mark after he had come back from the injury was just outstanding. A great tribute to a player in that situation. But no, that was really our fans at their best.
It was a big night for Mark and for this team, and the city was really pumped, and playing against our old friends the Steelers. So all those things put together was a pretty big evening. But Monday night's just a big game.
Oh man, that was like the climax of the season almost. When Mark was introduced and he ran down the line in the middle of the field before a game, and the crowd just went crazy. It got so loud. That was the loudest I've ever experienced here in Jacksonville in Alltel Stadium.
What emotions with Mark coming back like that, and then me going down with a broken leg. Oh, was that a great day for me. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way, Rick. I appreciate that. God, I was feeling happy today, and then all of a sudden you're here, the bearer of good tidings. Remind me of that. I'm pissed. Turn it off!
And with all this, the first ever Monday Nighter at Alltel comes down to the final play. A blocked field goal, and it turns into a Chris Hudson 58-yard whopping touchdown. Omaha.
I was just happy we blocked it and just happy we had a chance to win, you know. I was really trying to figure out who blocked it. I thought Travis blocked it, but it was Clyde, and it was good for the most part.
It was a great feeling. It was a very exciting game, and I mean, the way it ended just proves that, you know, Monday Night Magic doesn't get any better than that.
And no better way to showcase our city for the world to see from the St. Johns River to see.
Criticism, basically. Criticism. If you do bad, all your boys and your moms will call you up and say, baby, what happened to you on that play? Your boys are like, man, you got beat real bad. So basically that game is more criticism more than anything.
You realize that everyone in the country's watching, you know, even the guys that you play against on Sundays, you know, and I know when I go home on Monday nights, I turn on the game, and it's like that for every player, I think. So you realize that the whole country's watching, and it's a chance to let the country know about the Jaguars.
And that Monday Night Magic will continue the Monday after Christmas with those same Pittsburgh Steelers. And you got to feel that's going to be an incredible game at the end of the season, the last game of the year.
You betcha. That's December 28th. But tonight, crowds not just here at Alltel in the parking lots and the tailgaters. Check out some of the sports bars and grills around town. Here's ABC25's Stacey Sager on the south side at Sneakers.
That's right. There are hundreds of people here tonight. They are serving up a lot of America's favorite football beverage, and among this crowd there are a lot of Jaguars fans. Well, first of all, what is your prediction tonight?
27-24 Jaguars.
What are you feeling tonight? Monday Night Football, Jaguars, big game.
It's a great game. I'm sorry I'm not there.
And sorry to say we do have some Dolphin fans here, but we don't have enough time to talk to you, so we're going to go Jaguars. There are 62 television stations, TVs here, and they're all tuned to ABC25. We are live on the south side. I'm Stacey Sager for ABC25 News. Bruce?
Interesting matchup tonight. Jimmy Smith, who will no longer have double and triple coverage. Dolphins like going with the man-to-man. Jaguars by 20.
All right, as we wrap it up, let's take you aboard News Chopper 25 for a live aerial view above Alltel Stadium. Here are the facts. Jacksonville and Miami have never played in a regular season game. This is a first. Jacksonville comes into this undefeated. It's an important game for them because they leave on the road. It's Buffalo, Denver, and then Baltimore. It's a must-win for Jacksonville tonight as they are in the spotlight on ABC 25's Monday Night Football. ABC's crew takes over in just a minute, and kickoffs at 20 after. We'll be back with an update on the nightcast. Until then, have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow.